So when it comes to beekeeping, a lot of the first few questions that people have is where do you start? When do you start? How do you get bees? Basically the basics. So I've put together some information that I've learned when I started getting into bees with the common questions to kind of help get other beekeepers get into it and get started. One of the first ones is where do you start? When I first started learning, about beekeeping, there's a difference between there's a break between a crazy person and a farmer, and I feel like the beekeeper is kind of right in the middle. And you'll see throughout your beekeeping experience what I mean by that, especially when it comes to swarm catching and just being in the thousands of bees.
Okay.
So where do you start? One of my favorite ways to get started in beekeeping is to build your community and be a part of a community. And, what I found is most local counties offer an extensions office. I think that's a great way to start, especially if you're trying to get bees from your local area. We'll talk more about that and why it's important. But finding a local club is a great way because you can try to find a mentor. Most beekeepers will help you. And they offer classes, they offer clubs. Most of them have online forums where people can kind of share if you've got questions, because you're going to see that depending on where you're at, there are different ways and different things that you need to be doing. So for me, like I'm in Virginia, you guys are a little bit ahead of the game for me. My bees are not there yet. Down here, you already have things blooming. There's already things, ready for the bees to, forage for. So location is key. And that's why I feel like it's important to try to find a community that's close to you.
Okay.
There are Facebook groups. I think that it's a good way to get an idea and see pictures, but don't take everything that you see. Not always. But it is good when you're learning about things that are happening inside the hive to see what people are posting, what they're experiencing, because really what it comes down to is you're only going to be into your hives every couple of weeks. So for the first year, you're not going to have a whole lot of time with the bees. So by seeing what other people are doing, that kind of gives you more exposure because you're seeing what's happening in their hive, so learning how to identify things and how to step in if you need to step in. Finding a mentor. It sounds like you've got a nice group of people in your area. So, that's beneficial. Watch instructional videos. That's a great way to kind of learn techniques. I put out a lot of videos on just basics. How do you stand? Where do you stand? How do you identify the things? Because again, you're only in your colonies every couple of weeks. So the more you can watch, the more you'll learn. Joining online groups, finding a bee buddy. That's why it's important for both of you guys to do it together. My family and I keep bees together, so it's helpful for my mom and my dad. If they can't see something, I might be able to see something, see the egg. Those are some key points on how to start with finding a community.